Wow, what an episode. The Last of Us Episode 2 is out, and if it wasn't evident by the first one, this show is really good. Last week, it was clear that they were going to deliver exactly what the fans wanted out of this series, but also subvert our expectations in the very best way and giving us a reason to tune in aside from just being fans of the game. The most important plot beats of the game are hit scene after scene, line after line, but the context around those scenes are completely changed, and it's by far my favorite element of the show. The episode begins 20 years ago in Indonesia when a doctor is picked up by the militia. They take her into a facility where a sample slide of Ophiocordyceps is being examined, and by now you can probably assume where this is headed. They take her to the body that provided the sample, and she examines what basically is patient zero of the cordyceps fungal infection. Here is essentially where we get our first piece of explanation of how the infected function in this iteration of The Last of Us. More on that later. This entire scene just made me so squeamish. Seeing her ankle get cut open and seeing the gray kind of flesh inside was just disgusting. She then pulls out tendrils from the patient's mouth and leaves in absolute terror. These tendrils we have seen in the first episode already. The doctor reiterates that there is no cure for this. There's no vaccine, no medicine, and if you want to stop the possibility of an outbreak, the only option is complete destruction. Extremely great acting here, a phenomenal intro, and it really ends on a hopeless note. Definitely The Last of Us style. We flash forward after our nice title sequence to Ellie, and she looks like Yoshi in the Smash Melee intro. And right in front of Ellie, we got Joel and Tess with their guns ready, pointed right at her. Ellie, having basically just revealed that she's infected, obviously has not gained the trust of our duo yet. Tess makes it real clear to Ellie that her and Joel ain't good people, and they really don't have to carry this mission out if they don't have a good reason to. So basically, Ellie spills it out. There's doctors working nearby to find a cure, and she's pretty much the key to it. Joel, finishing her sentence for her though, isn't hearing any of it because he's heard this story before, and he just simply is not convinced. Regardless though, Joel being skeptical, Tess being hopeful, and Ellie being an idiot, our group gets together and sets out. Boston is a war-torn, bombed mess, destroyed, but beautiful at the same time. Great job on the VFX department. It's literally straight out of the game. Also, it's daytime, being completely different from the game. Some more big differences are coming soon as well. Now, I'm going to speed past this little chunk of dialogue and bonding time between the characters so we can get to the real juicy part of this episode. We get some clicker and bloater references. This little frog was playing the piano. Ellie, of course, can't swim just like the game, but I hope we get the return of the wooden pallet in this show.
Take your time. I love being on this thing.
Joel giving Tess a lift just like the game animation. Ellie and Joel's little awkward bonding time. And kind of important here, we get some infected information. Some live for a long time and others don't. Wow. Tess tells Ellie, when really she's telling the audience, because the fungus grows underground and essentially never stops growing, hordes of infected are essentially connected in some sort of hive mind. They're like wires that pass through underground and stretch on for miles. And for example, if you step on one patch of cordyceps in one place, you could be waking up an entire horde in a completely different place. Foreshadowing. The trio opts to take the short way since the long way isn't working, the trade-off being the short way is where all the danger lies, and you all know what that means. Hope they saved and got a checkpoint cause a boss fight's coming up real soon. They move through the museum, dead bodies are fresh inside and infected are mangled and fused all over the place. An absolutely disgusting sight. Joel moves into a room, Ellie and Tess quickly come in behind him as debris falls, blocking where they came from, and here we go. And no, dear viewer, we don't just get one clicker, we get two, an absolute treat for the fans, and man, what I would give to see someone's first reaction to a clicker. Definitely gonna tune into some videos for this scene. And can I just say, great job on the designer's part. They literally brought this beautifully terrifying creation to life. They deserve absolutely all of the praise in the world. I hope y'all are ready for all the millions of clicker thumbnails we're about to see for the next couple weeks. I watched this scene over a ton of times already, and of course, it was already kind of shown in the trailers, but man, the tension, the lighting, the reactions of the characters top to bottom, this was the best scene of the show so far. Of course, another huge shout out to the sound designers as well. The clicker noise is easily one of the most iconic things to come out of The Last of Us. I know fans were geeking when they heard it. It's such an oddly satisfying yet horrifying sound. Also, yes, they work the same way as the game. I mean, why wouldn't they? But man, the way they limp around and lunge and flail around, big shout out to the actors under all of that makeup. But Joel ain't got no shivs, so this matchup was obviously a tough one. A clicker leaps over the table onto him and Ellie. We actually see that Ellie does get bit in this scene before Joel is able to take it out with his revolver. But remember, y'all, we got 2 of these guys. The second one charges and Tess comes out of nowhere with the axe, and Joel finishes the job with his AR, ending this phenomenal boss fight. But one more time, can I get a round of applause for this scene? They did such an excellent job showcasing the terror of the clickers, giving them legit a mini boss fight. The way the entire tone of the show changed was insane. The way they made you feel instantly like a prey to a predator. Just great directing here. If this is the quality we can expect from 2 clickers, just imagine what happens when we get to a whole horde of infected, including these guys. Especially that clicker part of town in Bill's section. I'm getting ahead of myself, but anyway, truly an amazing and memorable sequence. We get some cap from Tess immediately after, saying she only got a twisted ankle, knowing damn well she got bit off screen, and the group moves out. We get some more video game references with the ladder bridge and this famous Ellie line.
Is it everything you hoped for?
Jury's still out. But man, you can't deny that view.
The trio gets to the site, and by now, I'm pretty sure gamers have figured out what the writers of the show have done here. This part actually had soldiers running after, where you see Tess makes her final stand after she reveals her infection. Tess and her final stand does indeed happen here, but instead of her getting shot and killed, Joel wakes up a horde after shooting one of the soldiers who was rising up due to his infection. All these guys were clearly overrun, and the horde comes stampeding their way straight here. Definitely a solid change from the game, essentially switching the type of enemies and the context in the gameplay sections. Tess revealing her infection plays out the exact same way, and she tells Joel that Ellie is legit. She is hope, and that he has to take her to Bill and Frank so that they can handle her. For Joel and Tess, this is all they've got left. They need to set everything right. Ellie and Joel make their exit, and Tess pours gasoline from the canisters all over. The horde breaks through, and just before they're able to reach the exit, Tess is able to activate her lighter. She tosses it, and boom. Tess and the horde are in flames. Just a great episode. I think one of the absolute biggest benefits of the show is the fact that they aren't locked to one character, being Joel. We don't get cutscenes every other level. The entire show has free reign to focus on whoever, whenever. So when we get little scenes with Ellie or even Tess's last stand, we get to be in that moment with them, and it's so strong. There's also something to say about the quality of the show so far. I'm honestly blown away with how accurate everything looks, how rich everything sounds, and how concise it all is. The team knows how to keep the viewer engaged, which is honestly a harder task than most think, because obviously this isn't a video game, and it doesn't have the benefit of the constant engagement from the player. It has what's on the screen, it has what's going on in your ears, and that's it. But they've managed to follow up on those little moments so far, and paying off all those moments we all want to see. There's definitely some more great moments to come, but I don't know what's going to top this first clicker interaction. Everything about this scene is just perfect. I don't know why it came to my head, but I wonder how they're going to handle looting scenes and stuff like that. We already kind of got a little healing animation moment with Tess. Oh, and of course, rip Tess. I felt like even last week watching Tess on screen, I kind of felt the same way about her as I did Sarah. Like, damn, like, her clock is ticking, like she coming up real soon. Great job on the actor for Tess though. Obviously there wasn't much for this character, but I give an A rating to her performance. Wasn't much to expand on, but she definitely did a solid job. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the comment section below. Let me know how hyped you are to see the Bills section next week on episode 3, and I'll be right back here for next week, so make sure you subscribe, like the video, do all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed your stay, and farewell.